Hi friends, Miles here with another Digitone tutorial, and in this one I want to show you how I use the Digitone's arpeggiator function to add cool melodies and also some groove to my live jams. I think the Digitone's ARP has so many cool features and is quite underrated when it comes to creating grooves, melodies, or even using it in combination with a sequencer. I like to use it in both melodic and percussive sounds, which I'll show you right now. Let's first have a look on how to use the ARP on melodic sounds. This example pattern here, by the way, is from one of my Digitone techno jams. In case you want to check out how this sounds in a jam context, I've linked the jam up somewhere here. Okay, I have this melodic ARP set up here on track number 4, which sounds like this. And by the way, I use quite a lot of delay and reverb on my ARPs, as you can see right here. The reverb amount is quite high, and the delay too. I just like that to give them some more room and add some movement with the ping pong delay. It's quite fun to change the amount of delay when moving on with creating the ARP and see how the sound in general changes. Like for example here, if I play this one. Yeah, you can really do fun stuff with this as well. But let's see what's going on in the ARP menu. We can reach that by hitting the function button and then pressing the synth page number 1. And let's start with the mode over here. I personally prefer the cycle mode and the true mode, which is this first mode over here. And I think these two are the modes that offer the biggest variations while you play them. By the way, cycle plays the notes from the lowest to the highest note and then descending from the highest to the lowest note back. And true mode plays the notes in the order as you insert them or play them on the keyboard. But for now, let's go with cycles. Speed I usually set to 16th notes, as you can see here. But it's also great to create kind of like polyrhythmic sounds in contrast to other grooves in your jam. So for example, I have this ARP playing in this pattern right now, and I have the kick, as you can hear, playing 4 on the floor, and the offbeat hi-hat adding kind of like 16th notes due to the delay on it. And the 16th delay that we have on the ARP right now sounds good as well, but it's also cool to change it to for example, 12th notes, like you can hear here. I think you can hear it better when I play a minor chord on top of that, for example. Yeah, I think you get the idea. You can do pretty cool rhythmic things with that as well. The range defines through how many octaves the sequence is played. This one in my arpeggiator setting right now is set to 1, which is great to keep things kind of like low-key. But if you want a more expressive sound, you can also change it to more octaves. So this one is 1 octave, and this one is 2, and this one is 3. Yeah, you can already hear these high notes really add up to the expression of the sound. And the length feature, by the way, this one over here, I use kind of like the same way. You can see that now it's set to 132 notes, but if I decrease it, for example, you can hear the sound getting smaller. But on the other side, if I increase it, the sound gets more expressive. Yeah, you could also hear that some extreme settings on this one can create some really fun results as well, but you may want to keep in mind that these add more notes and thus use a lot of voices, which might cut off some of the other tracks. So to sum up this top section here, the speed, the range and the length settings are great tools to use during your live jams too. So the undo function, for example, works on the arpeggiator page as well. So you can change them and then just hit function and no to go back to your save state. Like for example, I have now this changed arp, where I changed the speed, the range and the length. And now, if I exit the menu, I can just go back. Now I'm back on my regular ARP settings. Let's move on to the most important section for me, which is the offset section for notes in the ARP, which is this section down here in the bottom. Here you can activate and deactivate several notes of the arpeggiator, which is great for rhythmic things. Like for example, I can now mute this note and you can hear that the second note in the ARP is now not played. This is great for rhythmic things, and this I'll show you with the percussive sounds later. But you can also change the pitch of the notes in the arpeggiator, which is a great way to come up with new ideas or melodies. I, for example, like to increase or decrease the pitch by 5 or 7 semitones on several steps, because I found that these work best along with minor or major chords played on the keyboard. Here, for example, I set several notes off. You can see here, this one is 5 semitones higher. This one is offset 7 semitones. This one -7. Here -5 as well. And here -5 again. And now when I play minor chords, like for example C minor, it creates this unique melody that doesn't sound like a simple minor chord in an ARP anymore. And you can also add additional tones, like for example a 7 coming along. Or you can change the chords, like for example here to an E flat major 7. Or you can play them with interruptions. Yeah, this technique is great fun and really worth it to experiment a little bit and then come up with melody progressions that you really like and then can use in your tracks. Now let's have a look on how to use the ARP on more percussive sounds. This helps me to create cool grooves and at the same time save up some space in the sequencer, which I'll show you later how that works. On track number 3 here, I have this metallic snare percussion sound going on, and you can already hear that there's an ARP on that. Let's have a look in the ARP menu, and we can already see that here in the top row there's nothing too special going on, but here in the offset section you can see that several sounds are muted to add some additional rhythm to the jam. So the cool thing is that I can now change the top row parameters to create even more interest. Like for example, I can set the speed to 112 here to have this more polyrhythmic thing going on. Or I can add an extra octave with the range here to have a second pitch of the percussive sound coming in. Yeah, that's a really cool way to come up with fun rhythmic patterns as well. And another great advantage, like I said in the beginning of this section, is that I can now only use one step in the sequencer to get this whole rhythmic pattern going. Like for example, let's reload the pattern from the save state, from this one here. And you can see here that on the track we are on, there's only one step in the sequencer use. So that means we can add additional sounds from the sound pool to this track to create even more interest and use like the whole track to fill up with other sounds. But here it is important to keep in mind that these additional sounds can't have the same root note than our ARP sound, because then the voices cut each other off. So if we add additional sounds and change their root notes, we have plenty of sequencer space to use and fill. Let's do that real quick. I'll just go inside here. Let's see what we have on the sound pool. Yeah, maybe let's just use this one here. And now we have this sound on the step. Let's go to the trick menu and change the root note. Let's set it to an F4. Yeah, that sounds good. Now we can copy this sound and maybe paste it here, 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 and here. And yeah, let's see how that sounds. So this way we can add a lot of different percussive elements to the jam using only one track. Works, by the way, great on hi-hats as well, and I tend to use this quite a lot. One quick addition to that, there can only be one ARP per track going. So if you add another ARP from the sound pool, they'll cut each other off. But with regular sounds, like this one here, this works fine. And that's it. That's how I use the arpeggiator for several different scenarios in my live jams. For me, it works great to help me come up with some cool melodies, and when I feel stuck in a jam or in a song, and just add some new rhythmic elements to make a jam or a song a bit more special. By the way, using the melodic approach on the percussive sounds or combining these two is great fun as well and creates some crazy results. You can just try it out. I hope this video was useful for you. If it was, I'd be super happy if you'd subscribe to the channel for more synthesizer action. And if you have questions or want to share another cool trick with the sequencer or the arpeggiator, I'd love to hear that in the comments. Till then, stay safe and I'll see you next time.